Hello everyone, Jedi72 coming right at you with another predictions video for the 2018 NFL season, Week 2. In Week 1, we saw a lot of great matchups, a couple of big surprises as far as outcomes of the games and everything, particularly speaking of the Browns and the Steelers. Who would have thought that the Cleveland Browns, 0-16 in 2017, taking the Pittsburgh Steelers all the way to the limit to overtime and the game ending up in a tie? Who would have predicted that? But anyway, it's Week 2. Let's dive right into our Week 2 predictions. Starting off first on Thursday night, we got the Cincinnati Bengals taking on the Baltimore Ravens. That right there, I figure, is going to be a really good game. You got a good offense versus a great defense in the Ravens. I'm always a type of person that always says, if you can't win a game, if you can't play defense, you can't win. The Ravens, they can certainly play good defense, so I give the Ravens the Week 2 victory to start the season off with a 2-0 record. Our next game, we got the Kansas City Chiefs heading to Heinz Field to take on the Pittsburgh Steelers. Now the question is, will the Steelers be reeling after the big tie with the Cleveland Browns? Who knows? Steelers still without Le'Veon Bell. Will they have the running power to take on a very tough Kansas City Chiefs defense? Only time will tell. But anyway, I still go with the Steelers for the victory. In our third game, we got the Miami Dolphins traveling to the Meadowlands to take on the New York Jets. The Jets with a surprising victory over the Detroit Lions back in Week 1. The Dolphins, one of those teams kind of, sometimes a little inconsistent. Sometimes, if they're on top of their game, they're a really tough team to beat. But with with Sam Darnold leading the Jets, the way he played against Detroit, I got to go with the Jets. Jets over the Dolphins. Then you got the Philadelphia Eagles traveling to Tampa Bay to take on the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. The Philadelphia Eagles, as expected back in Week 1, defeated a very tough Atlanta Falcons team to start their season off right in defense of their Super Bowl title. I don't see the Philadelphia Eagles slowing down anytime soon, so this one's an easy one to call. Philadelphia Eagles start the season off with an undefeated record at 2-0. Then you got the Cleveland Browns, the surprising Cleveland Browns at that, going to New Orleans to take on Drew Brees and the New Orleans Saints. Now the Saints, very, very good football team and a very high-profile, intense offensive shootout against the Tampa Bay Buccaneers back in Week 1. Fell a little short, but I don't see it happening this time. Drew Brees, Alvin Kamara, and the New Orleans Saints, they take care of the surprising Browns. In our next game, you got the Indianapolis Colts traveling to our nation's capital to take on the Washington Redskins. Andrew Luck, not a very good outing on his return to the field, but still respectable numbers, had a respectable game. Redskins had a really, really good matchup. They won their game, but I don't see them beating the Colts. I see Andrew Luck bouncing back after a tough loss. The Indianapolis Colts take care of the Washington Redskins. Then you got the Los Angeles Chargers traveling to Buffalo to take on the Buffalo Bills. The Bills, they were just absolutely manhandled by the Baltimore Ravens back in Week 1. I don't think it'll be I don't think the Chargers will manhandle the Buffalo Bills like they did, like the Ravens did. But still, I give the Chargers the victory. Then you got the Minnesota Vikings traveling to Lambeau Field to take on Aaron Rodgers and the Green Bay Packers. The Minnesota Vikings, what a defensive onslaught they handed the 49ers back in week 1. I mean, the Minnesota Vikings defense it is just absolutely scary. It's one of those things where if you walk into a dark alley and you see this Vikings defense standing there, you're going to turn and you're going to run the other way. As well as Jimmy Garoppolo played against the Vikings defense, still just wasn't enough. The Vikings defense takes care of Aaron Rodgers and the Packers. Then you got the Carolina Panthers traveling to Atlanta to take on Matt Ryan, Julio Jones, and the Atlanta Falcons. The Panthers with a very respectable outing against the Dallas Cowboys back in week 1. This one, it's a close one to call, but I'd say Cam Newton and the Panthers, they're riding high after their victory over Dallas. They take care of the Falcons. Then you got the Houston Texans traveling to Tennessee to take on the Tennessee Titans. Tennessee Titans fell a little short in their game. The Texans had a really, really tough matchup against the New England Patriots in week 1. But I say the Texans, they bounced back after their week 1 loss to even their record at 1-1. They beat the Titans. Then you got the Arizona Cardinals traveling to Los Angeles, take on the Los Angeles Rams. The Rams, another one of those teams, just absolutely frightening. It's one of those teams where opposing coaches lose sleep trying to prepare for this team. Their defense, their offense, they're just a very well-rounded football team. The Rams, they take care of the Arizona Cardinals. Then you got the battle of two teams, the Lions and 49ers, both with tough week 1 losses. This one is a really tough one to call. You got Jimmy Garoppolo, the 49ers, had a very, very good game against the Minnesota Vikings, fell short. Then you got the Lions that were just absolutely manhandled by the New York Jets. This one could go either way, but if I have to call it, I'm going to say that the 49ers get the win over Detroit. Then you got the Oakland Raiders traveling to the Mile High City to take on the Denver Broncos. The Denver Broncos had a very respectable game against the Seattle Seahawks, came away with the victory. The Raiders had a tough game against the Rams, fell a little short. To call this one, I'm going to give the Broncos the win over the Raiders. Now in the next game, this is a matchup that a lot of people have been waiting to see ever since the playoffs of last season. You got the rematch of the AFC Championship, the New England Patriots versus the Jacksonville Jaguars in Jacksonville. Everyone knows the Jaguars really took the Patriots to their limit in the AFC Championship last season. Can it carry over? Can the Jaguars climb that mountain that is Tom Brady and Bill Belichick of the Patriots? Can they climb the mountain? Can they topple the team that has ruled the NFL over the last 2 decades? I think they can. Defense wins football games. Jaguars in an upset over the defending AFC champions, the New England Patriots. It's a long shot, but I'm taking my shot. I'm calling it to left field. The Jaguars are going to beat the Patriots. Then in Sunday night's game, you got the New York Giants traveling to Jerry's World, AT&T Stadium, to face Dak Prescott, Ezekiel Elliott, and a surprising Dallas Cowboys defense. The Cowboys defense held Cam Newton in check, had him running for his life the entire game. Their secondary just not allowing any receivers to get into the open field to allow Cam Newton to pick them apart. Didn't happen. Although the Cowboys did fall short. But I say this is their bounce back game. They beat Eli Manning, Saquon Barkley, and the New York Giants. Then Monday night's matchup, you got Russell Wilson and the Seattle Seahawks taking on the Chicago Bears in Chicago. This is a tough game to call, but Russell Wilson is Russell Wilson. He's going to make his plays. The Seahawks defense, I don't see any changes. They still got one of the best defenses in the league. Seahawks take care of the Chicago Bears. That's my predictions for week 2. If you like my predictions, like the video. If you would like to add your comments to who you think will win these matchups, leave your comments in the bottom. And as usual, like the page, subscribe to show support for the channel, and I'll catch you next week with my week 3 predictions. Y'all have a good day.